Current worldwide epidemic has wreaked havoc on one of the most important systems, education. Education is undeniably crucial in contributing to a country's welfare and an individual's growth, but it has been jeopardized by the emergence of COVID 19. It has had a huge impact on the lives of millions of kids. There have been a number of severe targets that have had to be met since the lockdown was implemented. Education was also hampered by the economic crisis, which reduced its output. At the peak of the pandemic, 45 countries in the Europe and Central Asia region closed their schools, affecting more than 185 million students. Given the abruptness of the situation, teachers and administrations were unprepared for this transition and were forced to build emergency remote learning systems almost immediately. One of the limitations of emergency remote learning is the lack of personal interaction between teachers and students. With broadcasts, this is simply not possible. However, several countries showed initiative by using other methods to improve the remote educational experience, including social media, email, telephone, and even the post office. Technology is not always efficient and can cause major disruptions to classes. Online learning requires students to have high speed internet at their home, which can cause complications if it is not available. A student's Wi Fi could shut down unexpectedly and not allow them to turn in an assignment on time, or it might not allow them to attend class and therefore miss instructions. This causes major negative impacts on the student's education and grades. Furthermore, students have trouble grasping concepts that are taught through online school because they have more distractions that take away the focus from their education. Students can become distracted a lot easier when not in a school environment in front of other students and teachers, which causes them to be not able to grasp concepts being taught as well as if they were in person. One of the major disadvantages faced by students learning online is managing screen time. Online education requires staying logged in on the screen for an extended period regularly. Long duration screen time becomes a great difficulty for students and harmful for their health as well, especially the eyes. Other disadvantage includes technical glitches. Poor internet connectivity issues also arise multiple times during online sessions. Small towns and cities face the most difficulty maintaining stable internet connection. It destroys the learning of students. Other disadvantage includes feeling of isolation by individuals, minimal peer help, and group work not being as efficient as if done in offline. Unfortunately, despite best efforts to set up a supportive learning experience, evidence is emerging to show that school closures have resulted in actual learning losses. Research analyzing these outcomes is ongoing, but early results from Belgium, the Netherlands, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom indicate both learning losses and increases in inequality. Alarmingly, these losses are found to be much higher among students whose parents have less education, a finding reinforced by a study showing that children from socio-economically advantaged families have received more parental support with their studies during school closure periods. These emerging data, which provide insights into the region's highest income countries, can also be used to predict outcomes in middle income countries. Despite their substantial technological capability, even Europe's highest income countries have experienced learning losses and increased inequality as a result of the abrupt transition to virtual learning. These outcomes are likely to be even more acute in middle and lower countries like Ukraine, where there is much less technological capability and a larger share of families living below the poverty line. Outside the classroom, learning losses may translate into even greater long term challenges. It has long been known that decrease in test scores are associated with future decline in employment. Conversely, increases in student achievement lead to significant increase in future income, as do additional years of schooling, which are associated with an 8 to 9% gain in lifetime earnings. In the absence of any intervention, the learning losses arising from COVID-19 pandemic are likely to have long-term compounding negative effects on many children's future well-being. These learning losses could translate into less access to higher education, lower labor market participation, and lower future earnings. In conclusion, I feel that the negative impacts of online school outweigh the positives. Although online learning is helpful in keeping a community safe during COVID 19, the difficulties that arise are much more prominent than the positives. The many negatives presented in e-learning outrank the beneficial impacts. Therefore, it should only be used during a situation where in-person learning is neither viable nor available. Only in a small group can a person develop properly. At school, a student learns to make friends, be patient, get rid of disappointment, and especially to compete. Competition between colleagues can be very stimulating, and students will only benefit from it. Online learning cannot offer human interaction. Thank you.